Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, more so than an instructional video, I've got a lot of love for you today. I've got a lot of love. I've got a PSA. We've got a public service announcement, much more so than a video about how to do, what to do, why to do, when to do, and with whom. Today we're going to be talking about why you should wear a helmet. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you have not subscribed to the channel, I ask you to please subscribe to the channel. Please share this content with your friends. It's going to be very informative, especially those who are basically brand new in this sport. Give me a like, a thumbs up, please. And please feel free to comment, share any ideas or any thoughts you have on a subject. Today, I'm going to play Helmet Nanny, and we're going to talk about why you should wear a helmet. But before we do that, we're going to take a little trip down memory lane and we're going to talk about what's gone on with the helmet over the last 20 or 30 years in cycling. When I started bike riding in 1989, a helmet was kind of like it was hit and miss. You know, there weren't a lot of people who wore helmets. I actually used to wear a bicycle cap peak up, and my buddy who got me introduced in the sport did the same thing. It wasn't until a few months after I had already been involved in the sport, we had soaked in all of the stuff of Greg LeMond winning the Tour de France in 1989, and he had one of those cool aerodynamic helmets. In fact, it is said that the helmet plus the aero bars gave him a distinct advantage over Laurent Fignon, who basically rode the final time trial with a 50-second advantage with his ponytail flapping around in the wind, and Greg LeMond overcame that deficit to end up winning the Tour de France by 8 seconds. And the helmet, the aerodynamic helmet that he had, is attributed as one of the things that helped him win. Now, you may not be looking to win the Tour de France, so you don't need that aerodynamic advantage. But the reason why I'm going to talk to you about a helmet is because the helmet's ability to protect your head in all circumstances, even if you're not getting ready to embark on a 34-mile time trial where you're looking to win the Tour de France. Now, as I said, when I started, there weren't a lot of people wearing helmets. People wore this thing called a hairnet, which think of it as like fluffy cornrows going back, made out of leather and foam. And I don't think it offered much protection, but that's what people started wearing. My first helmet looked like one of those big old spaceship things. I wore it because there's a group that I started riding with in Miami called Ebony and Brass. And one of the things that you had to do in order to ride with them was to wear a helmet. Thank God that they insisted on that. The helmet was heavy. It offered very poor ventilation and it was uncomfortable, but it kept me safe. And I was glad that at that point I started getting into the habit of wearing the helmet all the time. So much so that whether I was riding with a group or riding solo, I always had my helmet on. It wasn't one of those things where I'm like, I'm not with a group, I'm not going to wear a helmet. So I just started getting into the habit of wearing a helmet all the time. A few years later, a company called Specialized came out with a helmet called the Sub 6. The Sub 6 was probably the first lightweight, well-ventilated helmet. And I was excited about that helmet because once you put it on, you didn't feel it. It was so light, you didn't realize that it was on your head. Whether you're on a 20-mile ride, a 100-mile ride, the helmet did its job. It passed all of the safety rigors that helmets had to pass. It kept my head cool, which is very important. And it was lightweight, but it was also kind of stylish. So over the years, I made sure that I always had a helmet that did those things. It was, to me, the two most important things about helmets were that they kept my head cool and that they were lightweight. I wasn't so focused on the aerodynamic advantages of helmets. And the safety aspect of it was kind of like an afterthought, the safety aspect of it. It was just, you know, it was just part of the kit, right? Until I had a high-speed crash. I went down riding in a Peloton, probably close to about 25, 27 miles an hour. I went down really, really bad, flipped over a few times. I didn't even realize at what point I hit my head, but my helmet was cracked in about 2 or 3 places. And I'm not saying that the impact would have cracked my skull, But what it would have done, it would have caused my brain to concuss more forcefully against the side of my skull. And the cracks in the helmet, what that said was that the impact, the cracking of the helmet said that the helmet took some of the force away from that impact and protected me. And as far as we know, I don't have any side effects as a result of that crash. I've also had a slow speed crash where I actually went down. It was a ride where the ride had just begun. We were maybe going 15 miles an hour because the ride was in the process of the warm-up. And a gentleman who was just getting back into cycling, he went off into a ditch. He lost control of the bike, came right back in front of me. I didn't have anywhere to go. I couldn't bunny hop or anything like that. I went into him and I went down. I didn't think I hit my head, but I did. I had a crack in the side of my helmet. Again, one of the things that happens in a slow speed crash, much more so than a high speed crash, is that your body works as a whip and your head is an object that's going to hit the pavement with force. So we use helmets to protect our heads against that. Not so much the high speed crash, but the slow speed crash where we think nothing can really happen. Now, one of the things that has happened is as a result of COVID, gyms are shut down, parks are shut down, and it seems like the only activity people are able to do was go bike riding, and people have rediscovered their love for bike riding and cycling. There are cases where I see people out riding just in my neighborhood, and sometimes they have on a helmet, sometimes they don't. Okay. There are times when people get together and they ride as a group. There are a lot of urban groups that are popping up now, and some people are wearing helmets, some people are not. My admonition to you is this. Any type of bike riding where it's me and other cyclists, where we're riding in close proximity with each other, where the possibility exists that there may be a touch of wheels, whether I'm going to be on a bike for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 2 hours, I'm wearing a helmet. The slow speed crashes are the ones that I've seen cause the most damage and cause the most harm. One of the things about riding, even in an urban setting where it's just kind of like a critical mass type of ride, the speed is low, people are kind of carefree, we're just kind of like having a good time. It's in those instances where distraction, you lose focus for a second, somebody takes a swipe at your front wheel, that's the way how you lose control of the bike. And if your front wheel gets compromised, you're going down. And you're going down in a slow speed crash where your body is going to work as a whip and your head is hitting the pavement. It's not the cracking, it's not the bruising, it's what happens with your brain as it hits up against the side of your skull that causes a problem. Oh yeah, I mean, you might get up from that, you might be a little bit dazed, you may be perfectly fine for a few days, a few years. You may not feel or notice any effects of it. We've got no control of our bodies in those kind of situations. Please get a helmet. It doesn't have to be one of these fancy helmets. It doesn't have to be a super lightweight helmet. Go to Walmart and get yourself a $20 or $30 helmet. They all have to pass the same test in terms of their effectiveness to protect your head in a slow speed crash or a high speed crash. Figure out how to get the helmet to fit your head properly. Get the right size helmet. If you have a hair issue, which I clearly don't, make sure that you do whatever you've got to do when you get on a bike to get the helmet placed on your head effectively so that the helmet protects you the way how it was designed to protect you. You're brand new, you're enjoying cycling, you're not sure what you want to do with it, but you enjoy being on a ride, get yourself a helmet. You're out there doing urban rides, get yourself a helmet and wear it. You got your kids on a bike, you're introducing them to the health benefits of bike riding, please get them a helmet. Okay? Those of you who are introducing people into the sport, insist that if they ride with you, they do any type of group riding, they wear a helmet. Trust me on this one. And as much as I love seeing, as I said, love seeing my people out on the bikes, I also want to make sure that they're doing it the right way and that you're protecting yourself properly. All right, guys, that's it. Like, comment, subscribe. Please share this video with your friends who are just getting into the sport, who are looking for some guidance and some direction. Be a helmet nanny. Be a helmet nanny. Make sure that they do the right thing. As always, guys, our goal is to inform, instruct, inspire, to be a benefit to the cycling community. I hope that you're getting out there and getting an opportunity to ride your bike. As always, guys, be blessed.